Nashville. How we doing? So listen, if you are impatient, driven, hungry to win, perceived as being an asshole, competitive, solid C student who is never satisfied, who also can't spell, but wants to put a mark on this earth, I want you guys to pay attention. So listen, I'm the co-founder of Trace and Cayman Hartline. They're my 9 and 6-year-old boys. Half of our year is in Costa Rica with my beautiful wife, Rachel. And I have these companies that I run as well. Now, today we have about 75 locations, and we have 440 friendly, knowledgeable people working. Friendly. They're so friendly. But it's a challenge. So last year we were recognized as the #1 fastest growing company in Middle Tennessee for 2016. That wasn't easy. And then we had 2017 and we doubled our sales. That, my friends, is exponential growth. Now, it didn't happen on accident. I didn't find it in my coat pocket. It was some mind shifts, changes that I had to do in myself to be able to do what I do today. I had to think bigger. I had to partner up. And I had to do a thing called time shifting. So listen, my friends, many of you entrepreneurs out there dream of owning your own plane. This is the Cessna 172. It's $274,000. And people get excited about the idea of hopping city to city, getting their shit done, right? That's exciting. The thing is, they also make the Citation. It's 700 miles an hour. Now, it's $22 million, right? It holds a lot more people, flies further. But the difference between the two planes, this is someone thinking locally, this is someone thinking globally. It's the size of the idea that matters, not the amount of time you put in the idea. Someone can have the Citation just as well as the 172. It's the idea. So mind shift #1, we have to think bigger. Too many of us say to ourselves in our own self-talk, I could not do that. And the reality is, most of us that are goal-setting people always achieve our goals, don't we? And we check them off and we go to the next goal, right? Well, we live in a world where technology allows us to scale a whole lot faster. So the old way of doing things is going to keep you slow and small. So my focus as a leader is to only allow myself to do 3 things. I don't hold a hammer and build houses. I would think about how to sell 1,000 houses. I don't do the work in my business because I hire people that do the work. So my 3 things, the 3 things that I must do, and I have to eliminate anything that gets in my way. I have to lead, I have to learn, and I have to think. Partnering up. If I don't do it myself, it won't get done right. How many times have we said this? We all say it. The reality is you got to let go. If you want to grow, you got to let go. One thing that's important to understand is we did exponential growth. Unfortunately, my profit doesn't look like those charts. I break a lot of stuff along the way. We all do when we're growing our business. But one thing is for certain that you have to pay attention to. You just got to do it enough. Good enough. Good enough can work. Not doing it because you're worried of screwing it up is not the way of thinking. Now, if I was operating on eyeballs, I would be damn perfect because I'd have to be. But I would never do a business where my 2 hands had to do the business. I have to get things done through other people if I want big ideas to fly. So, budget for a coach. Oh, I don't have enough money for a coach. Sell your car. I don't have enough money for a coach. Get a smaller house. Don't focus on the luxuries yet. They will come. Number 3, time shifting. How many in here think they don't have enough time to get things done? You're wrong. You have plenty of time. You know, I stopped drinking about 18 months ago, and there's a statement that really holds true. When you drink alcohol, you're borrowing happiness from tomorrow. I kind of scratch out happiness, and I say it takes your time. Because my number one lesson of becoming, I guess, a sober guy, one of those awkward guys you see at parties, is I find myself sleeping through the night. You know what happens when you get a good night's rest? You have time. When you don't get a good night's rest, you have wasted your time. This is something I do not do. All my friends know I don't do it. I don't like to do it. It's a complete and utter waste of time to drive. Either move your office or move your home, but don't drive your car. It's a waste of your time. Here's another big one. The office. Oh, I have to be at the office. I'm going to the office. How many times have you got in your car to come home from the office and you look at your day and go, what did I do? The office is an event. The office is not a place to work. I work in my basement. Get out of the way of your team. Your team also need time to think. And when they're around you, they will come to you for everything. But it's kind of funny how humans work. If you're not around for them, guess what happens? They figure it out. So, I sell phones for a living, and I'm just about to shit all over it because I'll tell you, the Smithsonian called, and they want their phone back, and they also want the email back because that's not how we're meant to communicate. So I use a tool called Marco Polo. It's a video messaging service. You know, how many times have you sat there to generate an email that you thought was perfect, and yet the response from your team or customers comes back and says, you hurt Sally's feelings. Okay? We aren't meant to email, guys. That isn't how communications work. Communication works with you looking at a human in a face. I have tone, I have inflection, I have body language. If I want to make it very serious, I will make it serious. If I want to make it loosey-goosey, like it's no big deal, I can say that as well. But I can say that in a quick message. No worrying about the way I communicate in email. So my default is Marco Polo for all the non-urgent conversation, collaboration, brainstorming. Now, the phone. Let's talk about for the phone for a second, because I can't stand my phone ringing. I've just got to a point where I've given up. Because this is what happens with the phone. When a phone rings, you stop and look at it. And suddenly their agenda is your agenda, right? People who call me should stop. I will mark my word, my friends, that in 3 years, everyone will be using a tool like this to get ahead. And this has changed my company's trajectory to a whole new level. But you have to make a decision that you need more time to think of the bigger idea. And you can't do that if you're doing the work and wasting it with poor communication strategies from the 1800s. Okay? All right, so it boils down to this. When you find the time to think, you're going to be able to grow exponentially. And the reality is, the biggest idea hasn't been invented yet. So it's up to us to do that.